Hello again, this is News Today with me, Kamini Nyamani Amana. Now, workers of the National Labour Commission are protesting the decision to advertise for the position of Executive Secretary. They have also asked the President to sack Chairman Edward Bwedi for failing to go by laid-down procedures in appointing an Executive Secretary to the Labour Commission.
Well, we don't know whoever put it here, but there is an issue that has prompted these things. You know, we have a problem, and it has been consistent. It seems no one is ready to listen to us. Whether organized labor or the Ministry of Employment, nobody is ready to listen to us. What has prompted this, I think, maybe the position of the Executive Secretary. I think Public Services Commission has procedure that all organizations, or if I may say, MDs should follow. That is, if someone is acting in a particular position, it says that it shouldn't go more than 6 months. In this particular case, the current acting Executive Secretary has acted for 1 year now, and instead of maybe confirming her or otherwise, all we heard is that the commission, and that's the commissioners, through background or whatever, is trying to manipulate the system to advertise for the position, to bring in a new person. I mean, fine, we have no problem with that, but the whole issue is that the current chairman was once the Executive Secretary, the immediate past Executive Secretary, and when he was applying for the position, his letter didn't go to Public Services Commission. Everything was done here. So we see no reason why, when he is now the chairman, he want to turn the things upside down.
Oh, you know, as workers, I think we need to work in an environment, a very conducive environment. And we, as workers too, I think we also have the right to talk about our concern. So if you think there's something going on wrongly and you don't have the appropriate quota, or nobody would like to listen to you, then you need to also demonstrate to the people that these are the things that are going on, that you're also not happy. I believe that call for this signal. I think it's a signal. It's not a matter of demonstrating, or I mean just trying to do something that is contrary to the law. Talk to the management. The management, yeah, everybody knows what is going on. They know. You see, the problem is we are talking about a system which are not working. We are talking about how structures, system have been abused, structures are not in place. You know, you can never work in an environment where systems are not working. You can never work in an environment where structures are not put in place. You understand? You wouldn't know what to do. So it's not, it's a matter of trying to address some concern. And this one, I believe, you know, we are, in this place, National Labour Commission, we adjudicate workers and employers' concern. You understand? And it would be very wrong if we are mandated to do a function which in practice we do something contrary. So I think if we are doing something contrary, then I think the whole country is under threat. You understand? More especially when we are bringing in leadership who is so tyrant and so very dictatorial leadership. I mean, that is very dangerous. It is very dangerous for the country. See, so I think what we are doing, we are just also trying to address a whole national concern.
Let's talk about this now. Martin Didemuru is director of the National Labour Commission. He's joined me via telephone. Hello, Martin. Martin, you're welcome to the program. Do I have Martin?
You have Martin online.
Absolutely. So has this come to your notice as director of the National Labour Commission?
Pardon me?
I'm asking, has this move by your workers come to your notice as director of the National Labour Commission?
It has come to our notice.
And
because this morning when I came, I actually saw workers and I had some interaction with them. It has come to our attention.
I see. And what interpretation do you make into this demands by your workers?
The workers have some concerns that the thing needs attention or redress.
Right. Let me put the question this way. Yeah. The workers are asking that the president sacks the board chairman because he's breaching the procedures in obtaining executive secretary. What are your thoughts on that?
In fact, my thought on that is that the bottom line of the whole issue is that the workers are emphasizing on the need to follow lay-down procedures in appointing the executive secretary. In fact, some people have the authority to do so. Nobody can take that authority. In the same vein, whoever has the authority, there are policies and there are laid-down procedures to be followed. And these procedures are not followed, and that is causing this kind of action.
And so, Martin, you're confirming that indeed Edward Bwedu, who is chairman for the National Labour Commission, has breached some guidelines in obtaining an executive secretary for the Labour Commission.
Yeah, the public policy has it that appointing such an important person so far as the Labour Commission is concerned, there should be records, documentation of whatever is happening. As we speak, letters are communicated behind the door. It's a surprise to the workers of the Commission to get a letter yesterday coming from the Public Services Commission indicating an intention of publishing the position of the executive secretary. There is no record of such communication as far as the commission records are concerned. And the workers are saying that, whoever is in the acting capacity, you may not want that person, but due procedure should be followed. The public policy is that if somebody is in an acting capacity and you are going to appoint a substantive, you assess the suitability of the one acting. If the person is not suitable, you advertise internally.
Okay.
To give opportunity to people internally who probably have the qualification and capacity to occupy that position.
Right. Here's my confusion, Martin. Edward Bwedu may have done this assessment. Is that not a possibility?
Come again?
I'm saying that you're asking that the fact that someone has been acting in that stead for the past year, you needed to do an assessment before you went ahead to ask for a new executive secretary if you were unimpressed. Now, my question is, Edward Bwedu may have done this assessment. Is that not a possibility?
It is not possible because you are going to assess the one in the acting capacity. It's appraisal. You have to appraise the person and let the person understand that, look, you fall short of A, B, C, D, and for that reason you cannot actually occupy the substantive position. That, I am saying, has not happened. How could you assess somebody without the person's knowledge? And then what kind of assessment is that? Because even if you are assessing the person by yourself, at the end of the day, once you want to advertise and appoint somebody, you must let the person who is acting understand. And you must sit with the person and do an appraisal of the person's performance and tell the person, look, the appraisal you have scored this position, which cannot guarantee you the position you are acting in. And let the person be convinced and satisfied that, the due process has been followed. The workers have concern because it is demotivating. It means people working internally, what is their future?
Subsequently, the workers have described Edward Boadu as a dictator.
They have described him as a dictator.
Yes. What will be your reaction to that?
Pardon me?
I'm asking what your reaction will be to that. I mean, the workers have said he's not only done that, but he's a dictator as a board chair.
In fact, the chairman, was the executive secretary of the commission who went on voluntary retirement in October and came back in October as the chairman of the commission. The workers have worked with him over 6 years, and so the workers know what they are talking about. And that one, I cannot comment on it.
I see. I want to have you hold the line, and would have a labor expert, Danso Echampon, join the conversation at this point. Hello, Danso.
Hello.
You're welcome to the program. I'm sure you've been hearing the conversation between myself and Martin. Just briefly, what do you think about what he's been telling us so far?
Yes, I think that, yes, I heard him, that the procedure for appointing a substantive executive secretary has been breached. And, the problem now has been compounded by the fact that, the chairman of the commission currently used to be a full-time employee of the commission, at least for the past 6 years. When I was there, that was the time we employed him. And now he retired in October, and he comes back as the chairperson of the commission. And therefore, he comes in with his own prejudices, his own ideas, and, who he loves, who he hates. And that doesn't augur well for the commission. Okay?
But Kwesi, what I am unclear about is what exactly is the procedure or the guideline that Edward has breached?
No, I'm told that within the public service, the person had acted in that position for 13 solid months. And therefore, if there's a need for a substantive person to be appointed, the first thing to do is to assess him and see if he's fit for the job before you begin to advertise externally. Hello?
Right.
Yes.
I'm listening.
So if you don't do that, and all of a sudden an advert begins to appear in the daily that you're going to advertise, and then the qualification to apply has been changed. That now you need a law degree and all those things. But the secretary position at the commission, you don't need legal background per se. It's purely administrative. You don't take decisions in terms of the commission decision. You work under the commission. The commission is where the chairperson by law has to be knowledgeable in law. And therefore, if suddenly, since the commission came into existence in 2005, the first person to act was Mr. Bapro, who was a civil servant who had no legal background. After that we had, we brought in, and the man who even we wanted to appoint at that time was not even the lawyer.
It could be his new style of managing affairs of the commission.
No, you see, the commission is not a one-man show. The commission is part of the public service. And therefore, whatever you are doing should not be your own engineering. You follow the procedure provided within the public service. Because, look, the commissioners are part-time employees of the commission. But the employees there are public servants. And therefore, let's say you need to go according to public services guidelines. It's simple as that. But if a person has acted within a position for a period of 13 months, what does the public service rule say? Do you provide him the opportunity to be assessed for the position? And if internally nobody qualifies, then you advertise. But if you don't do that, then it means that you have a plan to get somebody out. And that is, I think, what the workers are complaining.
So, Kwesi, for an organization, a commission that is supposed to deal with labor matters to be saddled with one itself, it definitely does not tell well about the image of the National Labour Commission, does it?
Yes, it does. Because you yourself are not able to handle your internal labor issues. How fairly do you think people may see you creditably handling other matters? And therefore, they need to step back if what they've done is wrong. The Public Services Commission to take control. The commissioners are part-timers. They have worked, they can make some recommendations. But the Public Service Commission should go ahead, interview the people, set the criteria for the appointment. And what I'm saying is that if there's a new criteria that has been developed, in which they've introduced law degree or law background in it, then I think that it's purposely directed against the acting person, not for her to get a position. And I think it's wrong.
Right.
They're saying it's an administrative position.
Let's bring Martin in at this point. Martin, you heard what Kwesi told us, the fact that this would not tell well on the image of the Commission. How does that bother you as Director for the National Labour Commission?
In fact, it is of great concern to me because if the working environment is not conducive for people to work, it impacts negatively on the work that we do. And so, I mean, it is of great concern to me. And that is why when the workers send out the signal, they want attention because as a commission, when other people have problems, they can complain to us and we will look into their case. But when we have issues, so maybe we ought to have complained to the members of the commission. But here is a case, this is coming from the members of the chairman.
Right.
Where do we complain? And that is why we want everybody to hear that we have concerns and we need those concerns addressed to create the enabling environment for us to work.
And I'm also thinking, how would you gain the trust of organized labor again to be able to deal with their own matters for them, especially when the commission is going through its own share of labor matters?
Can you come again?
I'm saying, whatever the case may be, the National Labour Commission would need to do some damage control, especially for the fact that the commission is mandated to deal with labor agitations, organized labor, and the likes. But here we are, like you said, the commission itself is grappling with its own matters. What is the game plan to do some damage control, if you like?
The game plan is that when we have the opportunity to engage in, discussions as to the way forward, and we are able to come to a conclusion in terms of the way forward. After all, the social partners are people we always engage in discussions. We've been holding meetings, seminars, workshops with them, and we always discuss issues that border industrial relations in this country. If we have such an opportunity, we will address all issues that are of concern to all the parties involved in industrial relations in this country.
Right, let's wrap it up now. Because see, will they even need damage control after all this is settled?
They don't make for as far as the tripartite, that is the body that constitutes the Labour Commission. They also need to come in. But in terms of appointment within the service, like Executive Secretary, that is the topmost administrative position within the Commission, the Public Services Commission to put its feet down and stop the commissioners from engaging themselves in that. That's not their job. That's not their job. The job for the commissioners is to adjudicate on matters. The people there are public servants. If you dislike them for the maybe, you can make a recommendation to the Public Service Commission that appoints them, that this person may be the behavior we don't want. But the commission themselves have no power even to terminate anybody's appointment over there. You know, so in this situation, I think that the Public Services Commission should delve into the matter and listen to the voice of the workers and make sure that the Public Services Commission's method of appointing senior officers is followed. And they should, you know, do away with personal animosity and prejudices that people will bring on board on this and get this thing resolved as quickly as possible. That's my recommendation.
Absolutely. Kwesi, pleasure talking to you. But Martin, just before you go, one thing that surprises me is the fact that the woman who is acting as executive secretary now, as far as I'm concerned, nothing has been heard from her.
What I have heard from the executive secretary and the acting executive secretary, is that your question?
I'm surprised that she hasn't said anything since the started.
I mean, well, maybe in the first place, nobody has spoken to her. Secondly, I mean, what will she say? Because it appears to me everything is even targeted at her. Even though, I mean, the purported advert, if you look at it, it has implications for other members of other workers of the commission, because the provision about the in-service people who can apply, there is a provision that says that directors who have worked with the commission for not less than 5 years, and there is no director in the commission who has worked up to that. That will tell you that deliberately it is kept there to make sure that nobody from the commission applies for that position. And that would tell everybody that there is an intention of bringing somebody from outside. I mean, I don't see why this is happening, because everybody is a Ghanaian, and I think that fairness should be the word. People who have the qualification to occupy that position, they should all be given the opportunity to compete for it.
Martin, you're director of the National Labour Commission. What now?
I am a director of the National Labour Commission. What next?
Yes.
We expect that we will be given audience so that, I mean, we will discuss these issues dispassionately and find a solution to this problem. That is my expectation.
Right. Many thanks for your time, Martin. Martin Didemudo is director of the National Labour Commission. Let's move on to education now. A total of 422,946 candidates from 12,562 public and private junior high schools across the country are writing this year's basic education certificate examination. The figure represents an increase of 31,864 over last year's total number of 391,000 rather, and 82. Well, after sitting the exams, the computerized school as placement system is a system used by the Ghana Education Service to place qualified basic education certificate examination candidates into senior high schools, technical institutions, as well as vocational ones. The CSSPS became operational in September 2005, 2 years after the GES Council took the decision in 2003 to implement it. So with the huge increase in numbers, would that be a challenge in placing qualified students in any of these continuing institutions? George Atabuatin is National Coordinator of the Computerized School Selection and Placement System. He's joined me here in the studio. Thank you very much. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So then the question is, do we still have room for the about 30% increase we've had this year?
Of course we do. If you look at last year, I think a month or so to the placement, not all the schools had reported their vacancies. So when we started doing the placement, we realized a considerable increase. So as it is now, we are about 380,000 vacancies. That's private schools included. So even if you are to consider 90% that you're alluding to, I think we'll have around 385,000, and we should be more than capable of handling them. At the same time, last year, for instance, there were some schools who had problems with infrastructure in terms of dormitory and classrooms. And now, I think it's quite improved. So we are expecting significant increases in terms of vacancies from the various senior high schools. So we should be able to take them.
I'm not sure why I'm not convinced, because last year we had a host of parents who were unable to put their kids through school because of lack of vacancy or one problem or the other.
Well, then I don't know, because as it is last year, we were able to place about 97.7%. We only had about 2.2%, and even those students have still been absorbed by GES into various technical programs. So even if we are to use last year's vacancies alone, we should be more than capable of handling the 422,000.
It may not be also just a matter of the vacancies. It may be, do we have the facilities? Well, yes, we have the space, but do we have the dormitories? Do we have the expanded dining halls and all that for the students?
Absolutely, we do. Like I said, last year, we had some challenges with regards to dormitories and classrooms. And if you look at what we've done so far, if you go around the schools yourself, you find out that some of these dormitories and classrooms have been improved. So we are expecting an increase in the vacancies from last year.
How many of these dormitories and classrooms have been improved?
You go to the various SHS, Brigades, Wesley Girls. I mean, the top schools, they've been improved. Even Krobo Girls.
But you see, the situation with the top schools is the fact that not too many qualified students get in. And so then the problem becomes with the undervalued schools, for lack of a better word. The schools where you wouldn't classify them as A-grade schools, they are those with the challenges.
I disagree with undervalued schools, because I don't think for now there's a school like that. Maybe the most subscribed schools, because sometimes students' preference to go into these top schools, based on family lines or family links here and there. You see, my father or my mother went to this school, and for that matter, to maintain the family's tradition, I must go there at all cost. You see, that is not the issue. The issue is, if you want to go into a specific school, then you have to prove not by family tradition, but by merit. And that is why this system always, all the time, takes into consideration your actual raw match that you have to.
The point I was trying to make is the fact that, okay, let's take out the oversubscribed schools, like you put it, and then look at the undersubscribed schools in the rural areas. There are those with the challenges. You tell us that those challenges have been fixed.
Oh, that's why I'm saying, if you go around, there's been a considerable improvement in terms of structures. Let's say a school, for instance, submitted 400, vacancies as depending on the course that they are offering. Maybe 40 for science, 40 business, and all. If you put all of them together, it's 400. Now we are expecting an increase, and even if you look at what is coming in, you see that a school that requested for 400 is now requesting for about 450 or 430. That's what is going on. So you can go around yourself and then assess all these things. They are not just, mere...
I see. Let's come back to the system. Now, last year, again, we had some school teachers or school masters we had spoken to who told us all sorts of things about how they had their own grading system. And so, well, the CSSPS can push you, but if you come and you don't meet the school's grading system, you can't get in. How are we addressing the problem this year?
There is only one admission policy, and that's the CSSPS policy. And it's just not a policy that somebody, sat somewhere into. It's a policy that has been put together by GES, the Ministry of Education, and various stakeholders, and became a policy adopted in 2005, and it's been operational. You see, so there's only one policy.
I know that, but it did happen also that we had some school heads who were doing that. My question is, how is the Secretariat going to attack that challenge?
Like at the same time, I repeat, the issue is this: we have one policy. Let's say, you know, we are doing placement. Before we do placement, we take vacancies from the various schools, you know, all the SHS, including even private schools. They report to us the number of students they can take, and we place students according to that. Now, last year, for instance, I know why you are saying that. We had an issue when we were sending a placement report. I think with a printout, you know, beneath I think some of the names cut out for some reason. So if it was maybe 1 to 54, we had 49. So about 6 or so were missing. Well, sorry, 5 were missing. In that case, if a student is number 51, it's likely that when the student goes to the school, the head will say, your name is not there. And that will start the agitation of frustration. You see, but we corrected that, and you and I know that everything went on well.
I get where you're coming from, but if we didn't have that soundbite from the headmaster who said that, well, the computer system can push you here, but when you come to my school, we also have our own gradient system, then the conversation would have changed. But then it means that the CSSPS has some work to do in that area. You don't agree?
Of course. You know, I wouldn't say there's a system in this world that is 100% perfect. There's always a room for improvement. And if you look at what we've gone through since 2005 up to now, you know, there's been an improvement, a considerable improvement in terms of even the software itself. Gone were the days we used to have the software running over a month to place students. And even that, we still have students on place. But as it is now, we use only 2 hours to place students all over the country. When we get data from YET, it takes us only 1 week to place students. You know, in the olden days, students will have to rush to their schools, you know, JHS and SHS to get a printer. But this time around, you only print your placement report on the internet and you take it to the school. So the system has gone through so many phases, and we still, you know, we still want to improve. We wouldn't accept the fact that it is 100%. No, we still have way to go.
We'll leave our conversation here for now. Thank you very much, George. George Atta Boateng is national. He is with the computer school placement system. Now, there's business, sports, and foreign news ahead here on News Today. Don't go away. Business now here on News Today. Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Richard Anamu, says a lot has been done to cut on revenue leakages at the ports. Speaking on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM, Richard Anamu also noted expansion works at various ports is on course and said the vessel is now safe in Cotonou.
Systems are electronic. And so the way we have programmed our systems is very, very difficult for any particular individual to be able to, to exercise their discretion as far as port charges are concerned. Our port charges are completely different from customs charges. So unless you are able to kind of collude with the entire system right up to the exit point, that is the only way by which you can undercharge. Otherwise, it's almost impossible. Of course, during those days, when a lot of these things were done on hard copy, with volumes coming in, it's very difficult for anybody to track. But with the present day IT, we're not saying it's 100% foolproof because of the fact that, of course, IT is also subject to, I'm not saying that 100% we'll be able to plug all the loopholes, but I think largely over 95, 98% we have been able to plug as far as GPH is concerned. That one I can say for certain. That's why we've even gone to the extent of introducing electronic systems even for the agents, because the tally, the counter lady or my boy who is sitting, or man who is sitting down there has problems with the fraudulent attitude of some people, where either the agent who is standing before him or her is not actually an agent. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that the documents he's purporting to process to clear the goods may actually also be fraudulent documents, forged documents. So we have had to introduce electronic means, one, to identify the person who is standing before you, and also to identify the documents that is submitted to you. All these two have been put in place. So now you cannot, as an agent, enter the port and do business unless you have this electronic card, which you cannot manipulate, I can tell you for certain. And then the document, we've got electronic scanning systems that the security agents, the clerks at the various points will also use to scan to be able to see the documents that are before them. So these are all measures that we have got to put in place. As a developing country, we should not be spending so much money in this, but because of the high level of dishonesty that we have in the system, like you have tried to allude to, it compels us to spend money in all these areas to ensure that.
That's it for the hour. You can find more news on MyNigerOnline.com.